Game number 1, everybody. Fnatic is playing versus NaVi. Yeah, Fnatic is playing versus NaVi, exactly. For like a second, I was going into like NaVi Pro or something, and because we had the last match with Virtus Pro, so I was a bit confused there. But Cursed Hollow is our first map for the series, and this is the final of the Atlas Storm Euro Qualifier, with a ban again on ETC. And this is something where NaVi could actually decide to just like not ban Kel'Thas or Tyrande, but something else, and allow both of them into the game. So, yes, they ban out Falstad here, which is also a very annoying hero, of course, if you go up against him on Cursed Hollow. And Kel'Thas and Tyrande are both available now, and Fnatic is going to take their pick. What do they really want here? Do they want to play it with a Tyrande, or do they prefer the Kel'Thas? And they do prefer the Mage. So NaVi, at this point, with the Tyrande, maybe Tyrande Meridian. Yes, looks like that's exactly what's going to happen here. So a bit of a sniper comp that they're already building here. Fnatic now, they can go into ETC and Uther if they want to. It's an option that they have. They don't have to take it, but it's definitely one of the things that they could do. So we have currently Fnatic with the opportunity to do exactly that. ETC would still be a solid choice, even if you don't want to commit to the combo yet. The same is also true of... Abathur and Uther. All right, that's an interesting change here. I like that quite a bit. So we see an Abathur here in the game. He's oftentimes banned out, not taken all that often. Sometimes we actually see him together with a Jaina so that you get the Jaina copy in. But this is actually like pretty sweet. I'm curious to see what they're going to play, because they have with Abathur and Uther a perfect setup to go into melee assassin now. That could result in a ban on Thrall here. Maybe Thrall banned out at this point. He benefited a lot from the scaling changes that we saw from Blizzard recently, and he is a very popular hero right now. And with this setup, you could definitely go into a melee assassin at this point. So NaVi could do that. They banned Zeratul, which is of course basically a very similar thing. They might have actually scrimmed against Fnatic a bit and already seen their Zeratul play, so it could be that this is actually a target ban more than anything else, and it would be a very nice one. Thrall is banned out now too, so yep, both of the teams making sure that there's no melee assassins available anymore. And for NaVi currently, looking at this, they could play that Jaina still. It's actually kind of interesting that Fnatic did not ban out Jaina, but was more worried about that Thrall. So Jaina as the potential damage dealer after Tyrande and Meridian stuns, that would already be a very, very nice setup. And, of course, on top of that, you can also run a second frontliner. You can run Vala or maybe a Reyna here. So both of them would be great. Personally, I would probably prefer to run that Jaina together with a Reyna. But they go into Tyrael first. Okay, Tyrael, first of all, being played here. I'm still curious if they're going to play that Jaina or not. I mean, if you have a Meridian Tyrande, Jaina is usually the hero that you see immediately being dropped so that you can start with that burst damage. Having those 2 Blizzard waves just does so much for you. It's so awesome. And Tyrael here could theoretically even go for the Judgment. I'm always like throwing it out there, even though Sanctification is of course the talent that is taken like nearly all the time. But seeing Judgment in a hyper-aggressive combo can be awesome. Normally you need a Sylvanas for that, or don't need her, but a lot of teams will head into a Sylvanas since she is very powerful right now, and that Wailing Arrow plus Judgment comp is super strong. But if you have that setup here with Tyrande, you could also see, as I already said, that Jaina, because she is very, very nice in this setup. Fnatic is very unlikely to take her though, so NaVi could really think about even taking her as the last pick. Apparently our draft tool is lagging a bit. Oh, no, as it happens, it's not. It's just running down the time pool even more. So NaVi taking their sweet time to think about what they want to do with their last pick now before Fnatic is going to take the last 2, or the next 2. And I feel we covered most of the possibilities that they have, but they have been able to just throw us a curveball every now and then. And, well, they are really running out of time now. Okay, NaVi, hey. Alright, they go for Sonya. That is a heavy melee setup that they're running here right now. I guess it was really just trying to take Sonya away from Fnatic. That was more or less a pick where they said, guys, we need to do something. If they get Sonya now, then we are in trouble. And after that Tyrael pick, they just decided to go into a triple melee. With Sonya being picked away, Fnatic is going to have a bit of a rough time really playing a melee assassin here. I suppose they could go into an Illidan, but there's already a Meridian against you. There's a Tyrande for the extra damage, and Sonya for the single target damage burst with Slam. So Illidan will have a very tricky time if he's going to be played. We haven't seen him a lot. Like, we've seen him once or twice. That was once in the Chinese League when we casted the Gold League match, and also I guess Team Liquid was playing him occasionally with Lowell, but I'm not quite sure if Fnatic is really willing to commit to it this much right now. They have a setup with Abathur and Uther that can be very, very good for a melee assassin, but I'm a bit curious to see how they're going to play this now. They also need a frontliner, and a lot of those guys have already been picked away. Johanna, for example, would be good for Breeze, I suppose, so they could use that. But Fnatic, yes, they go for Johanna. And is it going to be a melee assassin, yes or no? Very limited options. You could go into a Karrigan, for example. So you could play a Karrigan here, but there's not really a lot of stun follow-up for Karrigan. Johanna can help out with the Condemn. Uther, of course, with the stun too. You have the Illidan available as another melee assassin, but they don't necessarily have to go into one. So they could also just like change things up slightly, run that Johanna with the Abathur symbiote head, and go maybe into Reyna now as one of their later picks. In general, giant killer heroes in their situation would be nice. Eleori could also be played for the paralyzing rage on the level 7, just slowing that setup down. But then the question is, do they really have the damage output that they want with it? This is getting a bit tricky here. It's really getting a bit tricky. I like how Navi was putting pressure on them, and Fnatic is now in a position where they are really just like they have not a whole lot of heroes left that would really combo off with this. They go into Vala, and I can promise you one thing, that was not the original intent of this composition. So Navi with very sweet counter picks against what Fnatic is doing here, and good bans as well. And they have now their last pick, of course, and in this case they can go for a range damage dealer. They can still head into that Jaina. They have that Reyna as well. Those are probably the two heroes that they think about the most at this point. Very strong ones. In a different setup, I would have said Tacita is also an option, but I would really still like to see an auto attack damage dealer, and that is Reyna right now. So I like this setup a lot. Navi, in my opinion, with a cool draft, really making the life of Fnatic very, very difficult here, and they are getting a slight lead now in this setup. Khaldor is going to be the first map, and we're going to check out now in game number 1 of the best of 3 series here at the grand final of the qualifier for the End of the Storm Europe, which team is going to take the lead. Game number 1, everybody, is happening. Navi versus Fnatic. I'm very, very happy about this game now because I think that these two teams are two of the best that we currently have in the European scene, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how they are faring against each other. To the left side of the map, Navi with Alex the Pro G on Tyrael in this first game of the best of 3 series. We have Zarmany on Zhonya, Crosby on Reyna, Eternal on Muradin, and Garan Paquete on Tyrande. To the right side of the map, Smexy style on Uther, Breeze on Johanna, Mene on Kel'Thas, we have Quacknix on Vala, and Sypho on Abathur. Now, you might ask yourself, where exactly is Shed? And to my knowledge, Shed is not with Fnatic anymore. They were able to win a lot of games together, but apparently didn't really work out the way that they were hoping for. So Shed is not with Fnatic, and we have now Sypho as the new tryout, a former Team Acer player back in the old school days, if you so want. And for now, well, we're going to see how exactly this game is going to go for them. They have a very solid setup here, but the problem for Team Fnatic is definitely that I feel they're not going to be very... I don't think they're really happy with their last pick with that Vala. They wanted to go, in my personal opinion, into more of a melee assassin, but everything that they could have gone for was either banned out or already taken by the opponent. Navi committed to a 3-warrior setup already, and this is like one of those moments where Fnatic is going to have to try to make the best out of Vala here, which is of course a pretty decent copy for Abathur still, but we have to find out how exactly they can make this happen in this game. It is a best of 3 series, it's only game number 1. We have as a level 1 talents here the Locust build for Abathur, most likely going to go straight on level 4 and level 7 into the Toxic Nest talents instead, and then later on starting to focus a bit on the individual support on those heroes. But especially with level 13 and 16, then that power, thanks to the Locust, is probably something that he's going to rely upon. Abathur is a hero that we sometimes see on the map. The big advantage is, of course, that he can always jump to the other lanes and try to soak experience when those tributes appear on the map. And also vision is, of course, amazing thanks to these Toxic Nests. If you have them all over the place, then you can make sure that your opponent is having a pretty tough time just going for a boss, for example, without you knowing. Reyna went straight into the season marksman, so kind of expected already. We have still that Muradin and Tyrande composition roaming around and attempting to get a kill somewhere. And if you have that much lockdown, it's of course a big risk for the opponent to expose a hero on the map at any point, because it could be stun and into death right away. And that is what makes especially Muradin and Tyrande so successful and such a great combo. And they're already waiting at the bot lane here, trying to go for that. Well, there's nobody hiding in that bush, so they couldn't really get the kill here. We have Vala with a multi-shot build, aiming straight into the multi-shots for now. We are, of course, also seeing the rotation happening again, since everybody on the side of Fnatic is playing very safe. Mene on one of his favorite heroes, he's playing Kel'Thas now. Alex the Pro G in the mid lane with the Tyrael, and of course against that Seraphim skin. We have him with Regeneration Master straight into the Amplified Healing. Double focused attack now on the side of Reyna and on also Zhonya. So both of the heroes go for the focused attack now. Pretty strong talent to take for an auto attacker. And we have Pierce taken for Tyrande. Tyrande was hoping to go for more kills in the early game, and that's why we are seeing her with the Ranger's mark here. Normally you would even use Empower to reduce your cooldowns more. That applies also to the Heroic ability, and it's a great talent to take if you are already attempting to go into Pierce on level 4 and try to use Battle Momentum for additional cooldown reduction. But right now the idea was of course to get even more bursts in against individual heroes. Fnatic is playing super safe though, so that Ranger's mark talent on Grand Paquette did not really help yet, but there comes the stun combo against, oh, Johanna, and Breeze is in trouble, and that means that he's dead. Breeze is down and the tribute has been taken, so we see Navi with the first kill in the game. Very well done here. The level 4 talents with the Laws of Hope for Breeze didn't really help him here. Arsenal taking now on the side of Vala. As predicted, we're seeing the Ballistos Force taken on Abathur, so it is indeed the talent for the mines. In this case, it's actually like the global mines that he's trying to use. Cypher already with experience down to the bot lane, and Uther going into the protective shield. The cool thing about the Pierce talent on this map in particular is of course that you have a very easy time to delay tributes by your opponent. It's very tricky for someone to channel a tribute when those owls are always just like chasing in. And then later on level 16 you can go into the Ranger talent if you want to, or simply run it with the extra damage thanks to the aura. As the camp is taken on the map, we have to the bottom lane, again, one tribute spawning. And that is tribute number 2. And we're going to see that taken in just a bit, unless, of course, we see Alex denying that long enough so that the rest of the team can rotate over. There is, by the way, that owl that we've been talking about, so already the first one happening. At the top lane, Abathur is in position. Level 7 talents are ready with a ferocious healing now. Battle momentum. Fight or flight taken for Reyna. Another stun, delaying it for as long as they can. And the rotation of Sonya. They really want this one. Piercing Bolt and Lunar Blaze. And here comes now the potential attack. They start to move in the tribute on the map here. So far it's looking very, very nice for Navi. Early on, of course, Abathur can't go for a copy. He can't go for the ultimate evolution. And that puts 5 bodies onto Navi and only 4 in this case fighting for Fnatic. So it makes it a bit difficult at the beginning of the game to really get these tributes. Tribute claimed, and that's the second one, meaning of course that the next one could potentially curse Fnatic. And they are playing still a very passive game. I mean, Mena is even staying behind the wall here. He knows about that pressure that can be executed by Muradin and especially Tyrande. So once, yes, there it is. That's exactly what we've been talking about. Smexy style is zoned, body blocked, and they are trying to take him. Somehow he still stays alive. One of the stuns did actually not hit him, so Smexy style is able to escape here. Very well played. We have now Conviction taken on level 7, Laws of Hope, and the Knight takes pawn in the build for Johanna. Zarmany up at the top lane on his Sonya, also playing it rather safe now. And the rotations on the map are still ongoing, with Kel'Thas being a priority target down to the bottom of the map, of course. But Kel'Thas can't really do too much here, and he knows that too. If there is a jump in by Eternal and then immediately a Stormbolt, then he is going to die for sure, and he knows that fully well, so he's just trying to play this as safe as he can. Is rotating and sends now Breeze down to the bot lane. At least that's what it looked like for a second. No, Abathur is taking over. Abathur is taking over the lane. So he's saying, hey, I'm standing behind that gate anyways. There's nothing I can do. So let's just like let you go to the bot lane, take over, defend it as much as you can, and we're going to take it from there. Which is exactly what they do. Top lane pressure. Sonya is down. Great kill against her here. And that also allows them to go now for the tribute. Of course, again, the owl on the way. And yes, it just hits in time to piss off Smexy style. So job well done here. You have Smexy style, of course, getting that tribute then eventually, but it also means that at the bot lane there's a lot of space created that Navi is now using to go in again and try to drop Breeze, and Breeze is in trouble. Abathur, by the way, could also be in trouble if Cypher doesn't move away, which he does now as we speak. We have level 10s very close now for Fnatic. So thanks to that Abathur soak, we see them a bit closer to the heroic ability than Navi, but the teams will hit that level very, very early. So there's already the ultimate evolution. We're seeing Vengeance, not quite taken yet, but it is at least Strafe. Blessed Shield, Divine Shield, and Phoenix for Fnatic. When we're looking at Navi's side, then we have Sanctification now with a Shadow Stalk, Muradin with the Avatar, Hyperion, and also the Wrath of the Berserker for Zarmany. The teams very, very calm on the map. It's just like trying to make sure that they wait for the next tribute. It is a potential cursed tribute, of course. Navi could let it go. I mean, depending on the position on the map, depending on what they do, they could let the tribute go, but of course they would love to just curse the opponent at this point already, maybe get a boss and start to try to snowball it a bit. Very passive stance here still by Fnatic, and it just shows how controlled they play their game here. Nobody overextends, nobody feels the pressure to really just like hit the minions. They're just like staying back, taking it easy, waiting for the tribute to happen, and waiting for the coordinated team fight that they need, especially with a copy, of course, on Abathur. Nice move against Muradin. He hops away, Eternal on the move back. So far, no copy on Abathur, who took position at the bottom of the map for the extra experience. So he's trying to give his team a bit of a lead. But up here at the top, we're seeing Alex the Pro G, Zarmany, everybody getting position. And here's Cypher with a copy on Uther. They want to go for the mass heals and stuns. Alex is already moving away. Now that the copy on Abathur has been committed, they are trying to wait that out. They don't have to engage, but here comes that stun again. Cypher is being zoned. Smexy style trying to go for the tribute, not getting that just yet. Cypher is starting to lose the copy now. Doesn't really have a lot of seconds left, and he is gone, and here comes the commitment against Breeze. They start to move in, but immediately the strafe by Quacknick, zoning them out, pushing them back. Shadowstalk used to get some of the hit points back, of course, and still Abathur down at the bot lane with the experience, getting the XP for his team, getting the extra XP, pushing the lane in, and up at the top lane, of course, now with 4 versus 5 buddies, the attempt to soak that tribute that would curse Fnatic. Na'Vi is also moving in now, but they're losing out on the experience levels thanks to Abathur down to the bottom lane. The longer this fight goes, the better for Fnatic. They're going to lose the tribute eventually, and they realize that too, but it's still a very sweet position. Once more Breeze with the shield glare. They follow him. Condemn is being used. There comes also Vala, and still Abathur is pushing the bot lane with his buddy, with those locusts, but this could be, yes, this is the curse. And Abathur is already moving away right now, but he was still able to put some pressure onto these walls, and especially, of course, making sure that those towers are out of ammunition now. Top lane pressure at this point. They start to move in. There's the Hyperion commitment, and they are starting to drop both of the towers. They go straight for that fort now as well. Level 12 versus 12, and again the copy, this time on Vala. Abathur moves in. They're trying to go for the multi-shots to just push these waves back, and that's, of course, a pretty sweet move here still. But in the mid lane, it just continues as Zarmany is starting to make his way over. We're 9 minutes into the game. Zarmany and Alex, they're starting to drop structures all over the map, and they're doing a solid amount of work here. 2 of them are already gone. They're starting to go straight for the next one. Very nice move actually on the side of Na'Vi once again, but in experience, Abathur is making sure that he is at least getting some XP. The fort is down on the other hand, so that's a problem. Up to the top lane, we see Eternal now going up against that fort as well. So he's jumping over to help the rest of the team out, and level 13 talents are now in play, and that allows us the imposing will on the side of Na'Vi. Earlier talent for Na'Vi, but Fnatic has now their next talent too. Quacknix is going straight for the strafe again, gets healed in the last second there, and he's already moving away as we see the Shadowstalk coming into play. Alex the Pro G about to die on his Tyrael. Sanctification has been chosen, and they're starting to move in again. They're already rotating away, but they killed their fort, which is the most important part. Muradin jumps away, and he's about to escape now. So again, mines everywhere, and Eternal is not having a fun time with this one. Like, yeah, it's just everywhere, just like slowing him down. The Vile Nest, of course, with the extra slow, and Eternal can attest to that. Down to the bottom lane, we still have Abathur now, after we see the Chain Bombs taken on 13, the Frost Shot even, and Frost Shot plus the mines. That, of course, a lot of, yeah, just like mobility stuff on the map that always crowd controls the opponent. We have also, for at least Strohana, extra damage thanks to the additional Burning Rage, so a bit of AoE damage. And on top of this, Overflowing Light for Tyrande for the heals, only support for the team. Kinda need that. And Sonya even going straight into the spell shield, since he of course is a bit worried about the chain bombs on Kalthas. But if you look at Reyna, he's going for the full damage output right now with a Giant Killer on level 13, and that is going to help him a lot, especially against, of course, Johanna, who is going to be quite a bit of a problem at that front line. But also important to see the Shrink Ray again taken for Uther. It's a great talent to have, especially if you're going up against Sonya. You just make sure that she is going to have a much harder time moving in and dishing out the damage. So if you can control her during these fights, that is worth quite a bit. We see Abathur in a very solid spot, by the way, at the bot lane, playing a very safe game here. Level 14 versus 14 right now. It's still the first game in this best-of-3 series that we have at the finals. A nice camp that has been pushing the mid lane has now been destroyed. Abathur has moved into position right over here, is still working on this entire wall, and at the same time we're seeing just like a bit of a trap to the top. But these Abathur mines are just so annoying. I mean, they are everywhere. They reveal the position of Na'Vi Fnatic is still a little bit ahead in EXP. I mean, it's basically identical, the amount of experience that they have. But thanks to Abathur, they're always able to soak a bit more, and he is already starting to push this in again. Locusts everywhere, and he only has the first Locust talent taken now on level 13, which gives them, of course, the Bombard strain. A Tribute again on the map. And of course, Navi has now to think about if they can really go for this one. Doesn't really look like it. The Owl is hitting Smexy style again. Here comes the copy on Sypho. Double Vala once more. Stormbolt against Uther. And they're starting to move in against Alex. He is actually getting rather low. And at the same time as he's moving in, we have the Tribute channel. So Tribute is taken. And we already have down to the bot lane here Zarmany as well, who's starting to move in again. Sypho is losing the copy and the kill against the real Vala. Both of the Valas down, the copy and the real one. And now they start to move in. Mena with the gravity lapse, but Breeze is starting to be in a bit of trouble here. Even with the Abathur head, he's getting stunned once, twice, and now Johanna is taken down. Great kill. And it doesn't stop there. Zarmany is also chased now down to the bot lane, but that of course could only be a counter kill. And they should really be careful, because now we have Navi moving over, and Navi is not going to stop with a single kill. They want Mena first of all, and they're going to get him for sure. He made a very questionable choice here moving in. There's the kill against Mena, and we also could see Uther fall if Zarmany is able to move in. I mean, yes, Abathur is doing a lot of damage, but one spear is all that you need. Garan Paquete is ready for a stun. Can he get it? Yes, no, there comes Zarmany. Where's that spear? Goes in for it, and yes, there we have that drop against Smexy style. It is 5 kills against 1, and we have an experience. It's actually pretty interesting. 5 kills against 1, but in experience, thanks to Abathur at the top lane, we still have that experience lead there now as well. Another Tribute on the map, and of course they would love to get this one, but let's be honest here for a second. It's very unlikely with 2 heroes missing. We have Crosby already moving in, trying to take it. There's of course Holy Ground now taken. We have the Bullseye, Stone Skin, aka the Nerves of Steel, taken on the side of Sonya, and Stone Form for Muradin, whereas Tyrande is most likely going to go into the True Shot aura, I suppose. Could use Ranger, I guess. But yes, it is Ranger. It is Ranger. Okay, Ranger over True Shot aura. Both talents very, very strong. In this case, it could be strong against Abathur if you find him on the map at some point. So that can be pretty sweet. Here comes finally that Locust Brew talent, but that is going to help Abathur with his pushing power as well. Imposing Presence, Benediction now taken, and we're also seeing the Blood for Blood, plus of course the Arcane Barrier. First boss in the game captured by Navi. They really control those fights quite nicely. They do a very good job with that. And they are pushing in the structures of their opponent as much as they can. But I really have to comment, especially on the way that Abathur is soaking experience here. He's always keeping his team in a very nice position. Once again, Holy Ground has been used. They're jumping in. Hyperion is already in play. And we have them all jumping straight for that camp here. But Breeze is already dropping, and so is Sypho. The copy is nearly gone, and it is. And Breeze is dying at the same time. This is not pretty. Navi is getting kill after kill after kill, even after with Kel'Thas having that level 13. It doesn't matter too much. They are securing their kills one at a time, and Abathur is of course trying to push the bot lane here and is putting some solid pressure together with that camp that he has now onto that fort. But we have another Tribute already on the map, and we see still Navi moving in. Eternal is dying though. They overextended quite a bit here, and they still want to have the kill against Smexy. They're going to get that eventually. Zarmany had to move in for it. He's not dying though. He still had the Nerves of Steel, and he is using it to just move away, but also to keep now with a bit of damage. Fort at the bot lane has been dropped up here at the top. Abathur is going to take the Tribute, but he is very likely to die now. He's trying to escape, but Alex is already on the move. The Slug is running, gets hit in the face by the Owl, is already in half HP, and this is of course... No! He gets away! He uses the copy, but of course he's going to come back at the same spot, and somebody could be waiting. But a nice move here by Sypho. Really well done, but somebody is definitely going to wait here. Yep, Crosby is just going to wait for Abathur to reappear, and this is going to happen now any second. But at least they take the fort in the mid lane. Already Breeze is trying to help out. There's Abathur, and the shot in the face, taking him on. Well played. And now Breeze is also in a bit of trouble. They got the curse though. Abathur getting this one, that was worth it. The problem is that Breeze might now fall as well. So they go for him. Level 19 versus 19 and a half. They are still ahead in experience. It's unbelievable. And Breeze is wasting as much of their time as he possibly can. The Ragdoll is getting completely torn to pieces as Quackleys at the bot lane is still pushing. This is, by the way, the same camp that took earlier the fort down here at the bottom and was pushing with Abathur. So yeah, they are really everywhere. And they put solid damage on that keep. I mean, with a curse that we're seeing right now, the keep is on half health. So they did really a huge amount of work. They might be losing all of the fights, but they are still in the game and doing a very good job at staying there. 9 kills against 2. That Abathur is really the bane of Navi's existence right now. We are seeing Rewind on Mirrodin. We have a double hardened shield. Of course, in the case of Sonya, it's called the Ignore Pain talent, because you can use Whirlwind while you have that. A very important distinction. Brings that Barbarian feel from Diablo 3 back into play. And also the Nexus Frenzy for Arena. I mean, his damage output is very solid now. Locust Nest for Abathur is going to try to use that to push the lanes back even harder. Redemption, Indestructible, and a double Bolt of the Storm. And talking about siege power, 100,000 siege damage already on Abathur himself. And that's, of course, pretty solid. 37,000 damage against single targets is also not too shabby. I mean, look at Reyna, for example. Abathur has more hero damage right now than Reyna does. So that's not too bad at all. Vala is still taking the crown here with 49,000, so that's very solid. But yeah, Fnatic, they might be behind in the kill count, 2 against 9, but they are doing just so much work with Abathur and with the rotations on the map. Abathur, by the way, is currently all the way back at home, so Cypher is not really willing to commit to anything just yet. He's probably going to jump on lane any second. I guess he beat back after using the Locust talent. And once that he gets his hands onto the bot lane and starts to push that even in further, it's going to be exactly what they need. But this is one of the reasons why Zarmany is pushing that lane out as much as he can. All of the lanes are being pushed now because they want to make sure that even if Abathur moves in, he can't really do too much and threaten one of the main structures in the back. So Breeze and Quarknix as well as Mena are starting to rotate. Look at that damage, by the way. That's a third of the hit points that Mena lost to that Ranger Owl that we saw coming in from all the way down to the bot. Talking about the bot lane, that's where Cypher is starting to put the Locust Net and also, of course, his Locusts per se. We have now a boss on the map again. Mines everywhere. Grand Paquette runs straight into one, so that's vision that has been gathered there. And still, Cypher could move to the top as well. He's currently just waiting. Not really going anywhere just yet, but the top lane, that's where he could start to move in, as we're seeing the boss still attacked. So boss commitment on the side of Fnatic, sorry, of the side of Navi. Fnatic is also committing to it, don't get me wrong. They're starting to move in. Alex the Pro G with the Holy Ground. Already, yes, there we have it. Breeze moving away, using the Indestructible. We have the push against Uther, and he's dead, but he has Redemption. And now they are going straight for Mena. Mena bolts away in the last second. Quacknix up at the top is also extremely low. Cypher too. He's of course only on the copy, but still. And now that we are finally seeing, thanks to Redemption, Uther back in the play, they could try and turn this around, but Quacknix is so low that they're not going for it at all. So yep, there's the Owl. Hits. Oh, and kills Vala! Vala taken down by the Owl here. Gets an Owl to the face and is actually being dropped. Wow. What a play. And the damage that we see on Tyrande is on 20,000 right now. So it's not like she's putting out too much damage, but she dropped the very important one there. And that's a minute now that they have to play without Vala. So the top lane is getting pushed quite heavily. The boss at the bot lane is already taken. Very little that Fnatic can do about this. So this boss might take down the first keep, especially if Breeze falls now as well. Indestructible is going to be procced any second. For now, it's the Divine Shield. There is the level 20 talent. And if Zarmany now moves in, and well, there's also, of course, a stun on Mirrodin. Down they go, and it's a kill at the same time here to the right side where Kel'Thas is being dropped. This is going to be a disaster. GG already called, as basically Quacknix is saying, okay, this game is over. We can't do anything to come back into this one. Navi is moving in with the boss at the bot lane. They're going straight for the kill against the Velen. They're not going to stop at the keep here. They want to go straight for victory, especially, of course, with Kel'Thas down and also Johanna down. Mines everywhere and a Locust Nest too, but that boss is nearly on full HP and they go in for the kill. Vala already going straight for the pull here with the heroic ability, but the Hyperion is now committed as well. And this is, of course, going to be GG end game, as we see the game ending in favor of Team Navi with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here at the end of the Storm Grand Final of the European Qualifier. Game number 2, Fnatic versus Navi, and Navi is not wasting any time. Dragonshire is the map, and they immediately ban out ETC here. So we could see Fnatic again with a similar strategy than in the last game and just ban out something else, not go for Tyrande or for Kel'Thas, but indeed they do. They're saying like, alright, Tyranda's not going to happen again for you guys. That was a bit too much to deal with. I suppose especially Vala in the last game said like, yeah, I don't want to go up against that again, because let's face it, that owl in the end to the face dropping Vala was very annoying. Navi, of course, they don't waste an opportunity. They go straight for Kalthas, pick him up there. And Fnatic has now a couple of options of what they could use. I mean, they love to go into Sonya. In the last game, she was picked away. I could see an early commitment to Sonya here. Muradin would be a great tank to start things up with. So Muradin, Sonya is something that we could see. Sonya together with an Uther, ETC Uther. There's a couple of options how we can really start into the draft. But Falstad is, of course, another very solid pick. It's actually crazy how much diversity you have in the way that you're starting it in the setup here. Oftentimes we see still roughly the same heroes being taken, but the ways that you can open up right now, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, we could even see the start with something completely different here. And so far, Falstad is, of course, very solid. Zagara is a very popular hero on the North American scene. If we would look at the NA meta now, it would be a lockdown on Zagara immediately. In Europe, it's a bit of a different setup. Zagara on this map is still very, very popular, and there's a high chance that we're going to see her. But Falstad Uther is the combo that Fnatic is aiming for first. That, of course, also denies Navi the opportunity to go into the Uther plus Muradin, for example, or plus ETC, which would be a bit more dangerous. Muradin is most likely going to be a choice for Navi now. They still play on this map in particular very often with Leoric, and we've seen them already earlier on Tomb of the Spider Queen with Leoric twice. So Leoric might be a hero that they're relying upon again on this map. That Uther is indicating that Fnatic, on the other hand, wants to go into one of their melee assassin comps again, and they could definitely try to play either a Sonya, maybe a Thrall here. So Navi will have to think about what they want to ban out in this case now. There's the Zagara, very early pick for them, so already the top lane hero, so to say, secured, and that's good pressure play that they can use now. Muradin, still a very, very solid option for the front line, and you kind of want to make sure that Fnatic doesn't get their hands on Muradin either. I mean, ETC would already be annoying. ETC could actually really combo well with Zagara here too, so you could go into ETC or Muradin. Both of them are totally fine. Navi has a bit of a focus, as I already said, or had in the past, to go into a hero like Leoric, but in this case it is Muradin, and it's a very solid choice. More into a Piercing Stormbolt can be super nice. Gravity Lapse as well as a setup. Muradin himself as the frontliner is great. Fnatic depends a bit on what they actually try to play right now. They already have that Uther there. They might attempt to go... Well, sorry, ETC is already banned out by bad. I was mentioning earlier that Navi could head into an ETC as well, but of course they banned the hero. So Muradin or Leoric were more or less the options, and having Muradin first makes a whole lot of sense. If they still want to take Leoric, then they can do that, of course. Fnatic, when it comes to bans, I mean, there is already a fair amount. They could start to ban out maybe one of the healers, and they do. Karazim is being banned, so taken away from Navi. And it depends a bit on what Navi really wants to take away now. Sonya would be a solid ban for them. There is also the opportunity that Fnatic could go into, again, that Zeratul or Thrall. Any kind of melee assassin together with that Uther that they're running here would be very, very strong. And they don't have an Abathur now, Fnatic, but it's still a scary setup. And I think that they are going to try and run that Sonya. So Navi might try and ban Sonya out in this case. But they banned Zeratul the last time, and it looked more or less like a target ban against the team. So I suppose that the teams have been scrimming quite a bit, and that Navi knows something that we don't necessarily. They ban out the Jaina now, though. Okay, that is an interesting twist. I really believe that Fnatic is going to pick Sonya. Sonya with the Divine Shield is going to be very strong, and they can combo that off with another frontliner. Going to Johanna again. But yeah, Sonya or another melee assassin. And there is the melee assassin. It is Thrall. No Sonya, but they go into Thrall now. And the Leoric, they pick it away from Navi, who would have probably gone into Leoric then a bit later in that draft. So for Navi, we need still a healer, and we also need them with another range damage dealer, I feel. Well, not necessarily. You could play again that Anubarak that Navi really loves to play. And in this case, against the Thrall and Uther, having that cocoon that Navi really emphasized during the last games that we saw can be quite nice. That 8-second CC during one of the fights is pretty sweet, and Navi is one of the few teams that actually plays a lot of Anubarak and uses that cocoon. It's one of the options that they have now. They need a healer as well, though, and when we're talking about a healer, they go Tassadar here first of all. Are they going to play him solo, or are we going to see them with a second one? They don't want to run into Thrall with a Tassadar plus Uther. If they go into a healer, in addition to Tassadar, Brightwing might be a good choice for them now. But they add the Sonya as well. Tassadar solo support with a double front line. Sonya taken by them. And yep, Tassadar with the shields. It's a bit reminiscent of what we've seen by Virtus Pro in the game against Navi when they relied on the Tassadar alone. And this is actually something that is very typical for you, that you rely on the Tassadar as the solo heals. And it can be extremely strong, but it's something that China and North America don't really do. Every now and then we see it being played, but it is extremely rare. It's very, very rare. This is more a typical European thing that is going to happen. That's happening here right now. But it's also a very aggressive stance, of course, that you take with it. You have Sonya and Meridian at the front line with the Tassadar trying to throw those shields out. Fnatic already in a position where they have a Leoric and a Thrall. They might think about another frontliner here as well. They still have Uther, of course. And with Uther, you can play Leoric as the solo tank. You still have Thrall next to him, so that's going to be fine too. If you want to have a bit more range damage, then you could, in this setup, go for a Reyna, for example, now. Reyna and Vala would be the two heroes that are still available and can dish out some damage. Vala more a hero that has the ability damage thanks to the multi-shot and also a fair amount of single target damage, but it is a Diablo for the front. Okay, so this is going to be a fun one. Diablo in a double warrior setup is pretty cool. Thrall, Diablo, and Uther. Yeah, we are going to see a fun game, guys. I'm really liking this. NaVi and Fnatic, they are going to make up for a very fun combo here, and this is going to be a great game. So I hope you are ready. I know that I am, and we're going to go into game number 2 to find out who takes it here. Is NaVi going to secure the series with a 2-0 victory, or will Fnatic bring it back and force game number 3? Game number 2 in the best of 3 series, everybody. We have NaVi versus Fnatic. Dragonshire's game number 2, map number 2. And we have Alex the Pro G for NaVi to the left side of the map on Muradin. Zarmany on Sonya. Eternal on Kel'Thas. Crosby on Zagara. And Garan Paquete is playing Tassadar. To the right side of the map, their opponent is Fnatic with Breeze on Diablo this time. Quatnix on Falstad. Sypho, the new addition to the team, is playing Leoric. Smexy Style is on Uther, and Mene this time not on one of those range assassin. No, he is playing Thrall in this setup. So a very interesting start into this game already. Pretty cool comps that we're seeing here. Tassadar solo support for NaVi, and a Diablo and Thrall Leoric combo at the front line for Fnatic. Fnatic is down 1 game in the series here, and of course they want to win it. They want to make sure that they at least force another game out of their opponents and force it into the 3rd map. We are seeing now again the Chain Lightning build for Thrall, at least so far. It could still be a hybrid build, but if he goes for the clear and crisp build, then we're going to see Chain Lightning talent taken on 1, 4, 16, and the follow through on level 7. So let's check out how exactly this is going to work out for them. For now, we have actually the rotation just starting, and Uther down to the bot lane will of course have to be careful here. I would love to see Blizzard putting something into the game where they, around Christmas, just like put a little bit of snow on all of the maps. That would be absolutely awesome. I mean, we have the reindeers everywhere, and the Winter Veil event is starting, so I'm not even quite sure. They might have announced it already, but I guess with the Winter Veil, we might see that event that starts soon for them could actually bring that. Maybe I read it somewhere, and that's how it just suddenly came to my mind. Either way, I mean, we have for now rotations happening between the mid and the bot lane for Team NaVi, and we're seeing on their side the Mana Addict taken, Reconstitution for Zagara. We have also now Conjurer's Pursuit on, well, 2 heroes, on both the supports in this game, on Uther and on Tassadar. Sypho about to move in here, and Garan Paquete might even have to shift out, and yeah, he does exactly that. Breeze already with his Diablo. He loves Diablo. He was actually one of the best Diablo players for the longest time in the European scene, and then Blizzard kind of nerfed Diablo into the ground, but he came back and back with a vengeance. He's being played again, and thanks to all that aggression. So Breeze was very, very known for his Diablo play, one of the most aggressive Diablo players that we have here, and you can already tell. I mean, he jumps in immediately and tries to go for it. Has also that skin that he's always rocking there. Falstad flying to the top. Looks like they're going for Crosby, and they're attempting to take him down. We have also, yeah, the kill against Zagara, and down to the bottom of the map, Smexy Style and Eternal are still fighting, as in the mid lane we could see the potential kill against, or the potential Dragon Knight, but now that Eternal is at the bottom lane securing the shrine for his team, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Firestorm, Fire Devil actually as the talent on level 4 here. Hardened Bones for Leoric. So far, Main hasn't really committed to his level 4 talent. He goes in Venom, so it is going to be a hybrid build for him. It's very likely that we're going to see him from here on out going into the Wind Fury talents on level 7, 13, and 16. So that's one of the things that you can do. You let go Seasoned Marksman on level 1, but you get that mana regeneration thanks to the Rolling Thunder that you have there. So that gives you a bit of additional lane sustain. So that's the thought process behind it. It's basically more the question of if you really want to go into Seasoned Marksman or not. Eternal attacked, stunned, and taken apart. Great kill against Kel'Thas now. Very well played. Up at the top lane, Mane is just attempting to get a bit more XP in. Of course, once again, Alex with an attempt to go for the Dragon Eye, but they already knew that down to the bottom lane, the Shrine would change hands and just end up in the hands of Fnatic. And they get that double kill early on. Level 6 versus level 5.5. So Fnatic with a very nice lead in this game already. Well played thus far. Again, the move for... Oh yes, Alex jumps out, but Tacita, does he have the shift? He does. Moves away and gets stunned and also taken out. Gran Paquete down, and Fnatic is really using the aggression, thanks to Diablo, of course, in particular. Zagara, on the other hand, you can't really contest her up at the top lane, at least Thrall can, not at this point, not alone. So she gets that temple. We have both of them under the control of Team Navi, but still, Fnatic is having great movements on the map that allow them to just like go from one shrine to another, from one lane to another, always come out ahead. And they still have Cypher in the mid lane who can just like deny the Dragon Statue to whoever tries to channel it out. Up to the top, you're seeing now after the Ghastly Reach on Leoric, also Thrall going straight into the Windshare talent, which is something that I already talked about. So I assume that he's going to continue with this build and just really changes out the level 1 talent. No Seasoned Marksman, but instead simply going straight for that particular Rolling Thunder build here. And that is already very strong. Of course, Secret Weapon and Power Throw, and the attempt to go into the Dragon Knight, but the bottom lane has been captured by Fnatic now, by Navi now. We're having the Kala's Embrace as a level 7 talent, and of course, as you can see on 7, also the Endless Creep for Zagara, which is a typical talent to take on this map. The thought process is really to just spread creep behind the mid lane and the top, and making sure that you have an opportunity to really get the vision in. As long as you see rotations coming, as long as you see movements coming to the top lane, you're always in a position where you can just like move back once that these roams are trying to hit you. And of course the gank potential is still there with a false set in the opponent's team, but it's not as huge as it could be. Diablo is being attacked here, but so far Breeze is doing a very solid job at surviving. We have Ferocious Healing also taken for good old Sonya. And Eternal is starting to really, or not Eternal, but Gran Paquete is starting to shield everybody. The preload after Kala's Embrace is being hit is super important if you're playing with a Tacita as a solo support. It's really what it's all about. Tacita solo is all about trying to just make sure that you have those preloads on the shields everywhere. Zarmini already has a shield here as well. There's not really too much remaining of it, but Gran Paquete is going to try in and restore that as soon as he can. Already Eternal and Alex in position. 3 kills against 0. Zagara up at the top. And the whole thing that really Navi is currently focusing on is trying to get level 10. They need to get to level 10 as fast as they can. The mid game is going to open up some new possibilities for them. And especially after 13 when they have the chain bombs, they are going to be in a much better spot here. But for now, they are really pressured. And they are pressured quite a bit. They are behind in experience. Not too far just yet. Crosby is up at the top lane, still getting the position, solidifying that spot that he has, but the creep tumors are already getting taken apart. Mena is doing what he can to really diminish the vision that Zagara has here on the map. Again, Gran Paquete and Alex the Pro G, they're starting to move down to the bot lane, but already Breeze in the bush waiting for an opportunity to dash in and start the stun train. To the top, we have now Eternal helping out Crosby. They're attempting to kill Mane here. Not quite sure if they can really make that work. Actually, if he moves in now, they might be. And yeah, that's looking really solid. The kill against Thrall. Of course, Quacknix is going to take over the experience immediately. But that was really well done here. Bot lane at the same time, where we have Alex and Gran Paquete fighting for it. Now the level 10 abilities are in, and we see Apocalypse. Apocalypse has been chosen. I've been actually watching quite a few of the scrims that we've seen from Fnatic and also from Navi, and Apocalypse is now a talent that is taken a bit more often there. The whole combo that you're of course trying to go for is to start with Apocalypse and then you dash in and slam the target with the first initial stun into the Apocalypse, and you get a pretty long chain stun in, and that is very, very sweet for these setups. Oftentimes we even see Diablo taken with also Zagara. It's more or less of an old school style that you can use on the hero to use more into Apocalypse, but now Lightning Breath is not the only level 10 talent that is taken on Diablo anymore. It's pretty cool to see that so many talents are viable in these cases. Pressure in the mid lane, by the way, where Zarmini is about to fall. Nice kill. Falstad flying in to secure this one. Well played here by him. At the top lane, a lot of the creep tumors have been eliminated, and that makes it difficult for Crosby to take the shrine now. And this could be a Dragon Knight. Well, it is a Dragon Knight. Yes, Alex the Pro G did not get that Stormbolt, and he was trying to, but wasn't fast enough. Especially, well, he wasn't really close enough. That was more the problem that they were facing here. So level 12 nearly. 4 kills against 1. Some credit to Fnatic here. They're playing a very solid second game against their opponents at this point. We have in the rest of the talents now more taken, Rather the Berserker, the Avatar, also of course the Force Wall for Tassadar. Very rarely do we see the Archon, and it's mostly when the team is really in desperate need of some extra damage. Crosby at the top lane is taken down. Oh, the Divine Shield against Uther. He saves himself, is still alive. He was nearly a kill for a kill, but he is still alive here. Level 13 talents now with Giant Killer taken. There's that Firestorm. Shrink Ray for Uther, and besides that we are most likely going to see Thrall with that additional Wind Fury talent. Could theoretically also go into the Giant Killer if you really wanted to, if he feels the need that they need to use that talent, they need to put the extra damage onto Muradin and Sonya. They could go for it, but very common with a Wind Fury build is just to add the Wind Fury on 13 as well, and there it is. The Grace of Air has been taken. The level 16 talent usually is going to aim for the same talent tree, and Eternal up at the top lane is of course also going to wait for his level 16 talent so that he finally has an opportunity to aim straight for his chain bomb. Again, if you have a Zagara against you, it is very important to go for one Burning Rage on your frontliners, if you can afford to do so. And Alex felt that he could definitely do exactly that. So he's currently the one laning against Zagara, trying to take down these creep tumors wherever he can. And it's going to be, of course, an easy way for him to deal with that. This diminishes the vision for Crosby and makes it very dangerous for him since he doesn't have an escape yet. Level 20 will give him the Bolt of the Storm, but so far he doesn't really have anything that he could use in these situations. Chain bombs, on the other hand, might be what they needed to come back into this one. And here comes already the kill attempt against Smexy. And yes, he falls. Smexy style down, level 13 talents, making it possible. We have Sonya with the additional sustain thanks to the spell shield. And Fnatic is going full man mode on that wall, destroying it completely, taking it apart, no questions asked. Everybody jumping on the spot here as we have the fight happening. And Diablo could also find himself in quite a bit of trouble. Nice force wall. And the Lord of Terror is dead. 3 seconds, then he's going to be back in the game. Falset is dashing away there, and the Maw didn't really hit anything. Here comes the March of the Black King. Crosby, yeah, okay, good zone out. Once again going for a force wall here. That cooldown is, of course, ridiculously low. 12 seconds, that's all that you need. Grand Paqueta and his boys, they are retreating right now, but it's 3 kills against 5 at this point, and the shrines are already about to be activated again. So pretty cool moves here overall. Nice kills that we see from both teams. The force wall play of Grand Paqueta is really spot on at this point. We're seeing still Mena starting to rotate over again. Giving you a bit of an idea about the damage here. We're currently looking at 17,000 on false, that top damage for Fnatic. When we're looking at Navi, it's 19,000 on the side of Zagara. And Breeze is taking another one. They're going for the Dragonite again, but Alex is already in the mid lane. Zagara with the creep tumors. They're trying to go for the kill, and it's the Divine Shield Dragonite. Cheeky bastards. This is so annoying when that happens. And yeah, that just showcases that Fnatic is like, they don't care. They're just like sitting there and saying like, yeah, if you can let us get both of those shrines, then we're gonna take it. Divine Shield into Dragonite. Cypher has it now, and they are starting to move to the top. And just look at that experience lead that we see for Fnatic. They're in a great position there. They had to split their heroes as well. Quacknix at the bottom lane trying to secure EXP. We have in the mid lane Breeze and Smexy style, and up to the top Dragonite is just like doing his normal thing. 5 kills against 3 overall, and Cypher already in position, starting to push Alex a bit. And of course with that Breath of Fire, they can just like get extra damage in. And now the level 16 talents are in play, where we indeed see that talent with the Tempest Fury, Rampage on Diablo. We have Hammer Time, the renewed swing after the Ghastly Reach, and Benediction for Uther as the talents. And that of course is a great lead that we have now. Force Wall is stopping the Dragonite cold for a second, but not for too long. Takes down another structure, and down to the bot lane. Looks like we see Eternal fall again. Yep, Eternal already taken apart, so this is the kill against Kel'Thas. And a very cool play here on the side of Team Fnatic. I mean, after the first game, it really looked like Navi would dominate this series. But right now, Fnatic is not only coming back into it, they are also showing Navi now how it's done. 6 kills against 3 and destroying structure after structure. They themselves have not lost a single fort yet. This is just very, very solid play that we have on the side of Team Fnatic. And they are still going in, but the 16 talents are now ready for Navi as well. Maybe that allows them to make a bit of a comeback. They have great talents here with the Dimensional Warp after Prescience for Tassadar. That allows them, of course, to keep him alive in those fights a bit longer. Stone Form for Muradin. And now that the Kel'Thas is back, they could start to move in, but there's already the approach by Quacknix to try and push everyone away with it. With a Mighty Gust, Zarmany dashes in, and Alex again with a stun. Once more they go for Breeze. He gets shielded. Sundering is being used. No follow-up though. They're just trying to retreat. Sypho is already on the way back, and again the stun, but nice dodge. Sypho making sure that this is not hitting, but the Gravity Lab still hits hard. But there comes Diablo again, also with a push. Shields everywhere thanks to Tassadar, but successful the retreat for Fnatic. They are able to move away here. And now we are seeing just Navi rotate over on those maps. Of course, attempting to just get a few more experience points at the top, in the middle. The problem for them is really that level 20 talent that is going to hit faster for their opponent if they don't do anything about it. So if they don't start winning a couple of these fights now, then they will be in trouble eventually. We have, again, Mena, Breeze, and Smexy style in the mid lane. Up to the top, we are seeing Leoric soaking some experience, and of course that level 20 talent is not going to hit in time for that next Dragon Knight. This is a chance for Navi to start and turn this game around. If they get the Dragon Knight, they're roughly 1.5 levels behind, roughly. So if they get a Dragon Knight, they could really start to play against this, but they need to make sure that they win one now, and it's not going to be easy for them at all. They're committing to that bottom shrine for now, and they jump in, Stormbolt against Breeze, and of course right now they can't really do too much. Having that cleanse definitely helps a bit to reduce the chain stun that can be happening here, and they are starting to move in now with one of the camps that they've just took to the top lane. We see Leoric, by the way, still taking that Bruiser camp away that has been claimed earlier, and in the mid lane even more experience for them. It's all about the XP right now, all about level 20. And Navi, they seem like they're just saying, okay guys, let's push this in and force them into a fight, because if we don't, then we have a massive problem here. So they all move down to the bot lane. If they retreat now, then it's going to be eventually level 20 versus level, I guess, 18. And that Dragon Knight might not be happening for Navi. And I don't really think that without the Dragon Knight they can make a comeback, because they need to go close that gap in experience. And so far it doesn't really seem like they have what it takes. They move in though, and they might have that push against Leoric. That Diablo is there. They go for Diablo first. Leoric is moving in from the top now. He's being attacked. The Maw has been chosen, but Falstad flies away. And Breeze is easily escaping this one now too. So yeah, very solid position on the side of Fnatic. Super safe game by them. They play a very, very safe game right now. And we have again the push down to the bot lane. Leoric is currently in the middle of the map, has been pushing the mid lane a bit, and is trying to put some pressure in here. Whereas down to the bottom, we have Falstad flying in. Breeze is also trying to pursue this, attempting to just like move in for a kill. And so far, it looks like it's the turnaround again. That attempt to drop Diablo. Breeze is low, gets body blocked the entire time. Nice force wall, but they can't take him. Breeze is super low, and Leoric is still up at the top, and he doesn't even beat back. They're just moving in again for the extra experience, and they are so close to level 20 now. The keep is being attacked here. Sarmony is about to fall. He needs to move back. The shields on Tassadar are not enough, and this is going to be soon the Storm Talents for Team Fnatic. And once that Fnatic has those, they will be just in a brilliant position to like take the first keep of the game as well. Maybe the Dragon Knight, that's kind of all that they need right now. So level 20 talents any second right now, and this is going to be a super tricky position for Navi to come back into. I mean, they still have one fort in the mid lane, but this is going to fall very soon. There's already the attempt to go for the Dragon Knight, and with Uther already moving in, I mean, he can use the Divine Shield to get the Dragon Knight 100% if they need, and they don't even have to use that. So they move in. Dragon Knight is being given over to Fnatic since they have the level 20. The Lord of Terror, so the steal that you get, the maximum health of nearby heroes, and this is already great talent. Basically gives you a massive healing potion if you're in the middle of the team fight. Epic mount for Falstad. We're seeing the Hardened Shield for Leoric and Bolt of the Storm for Thrall, whereas Redemption has once again been picked as the talent level 20 for Uther. And now the push at the bot lane. Navi is an entire level behind, and they're of course attempting to burst down the Dragon Knight now, isolating it. Here comes the Sundering. Didn't really do anything for Mena, to be frank. Didn't really help them too much, but that extra damage against structures is really showing now. And Sypho, he's just hammering that keep into the ground. No way to save it. This is going to be the first keep of the game. Level 20 versus 19 now, and they are starting to rotate again. Sypho is incredibly low on the other hand than on the Dragon Knight, but they can still move into the middle. They drop the fort here as well. Falstad already up to the top, trying to get even more experience here for the team. And the rest of them is still busy in the mid lane, just like spinning out that Breath of Fire. making sure that they get a bit of like wave pressure in against the entire setup. And of course, Na'Vi is still trying to leech experience. It's all about the XP for them now. If they can maybe like drop the, like they need a kill. They need a kill or two. They're 2 levels behind roughly, but it's more the talent that is really important. When you don't have the level 20 talent, going up against the Storm talents is, it's kind of suicidal. Especially with that Lord of Terror and having him, his talent there taken. There's just like way too much that Diablo can do to stay alive right now. And this is of course something that he might be showcasing us now. The first keep has been taken down in the bot lane against Team Na'Vi, but they don't give up yet. And as long as they don't lose more than that one keep, it's actually going to be fine. If they hit the level 20, that would be great. There's another wave in the middle that they have to take care about, and Grandpa Keta and Crosby are moving in to soak that. So as long as all these lanes are pushing in, they're kind of safe right now. But already, Thrall is waiting. Yes, there is immediately, he needs to jump out of this one. He needs to jump out, and he uses everything that he has. Here comes the Maw as well. They are already retreating, but they want to go in. They have the level 20 talents now. The level 20 talents are in play for both of the teams. Leoric is actually getting attacked at this point, but yep, they need to move back once again. So with the level 20s, we're having a double Bolt of the Storm. We're seeing the Force Barrier taken for the extra range in cast and also the duration. And we have now Hardened Shield, aka Ignore Pain for Sonya, and the Rewind for Muradin, who is going to try and get the double stun in. Talking about stuns, he could use that now, because there comes the Apocalypse, and Breeze is not falling. Apocalypse saves him, and now they go for the camp regardless, but still. 20 versus 20, this is teamfight time. The only thing that Fnatic got out of the earlier level 20 talent was the keep at the bot lane. That's the only thing that they were able to secure. Now it's time for the Dragon Knights again. In this shrine, this is really where it matters. Because the problem for Na'Vi is that once that Fnatic takes another Dragon Knight, they will simply move down to the bot lane, ignore the middle, ignore the top, ignore those keeps, and start to finish the game. So a very important move now on the side of Na'Vi. If they want to win this with the 2-0, if they want to take it here on Dragonshire, then they need to make sure that this Dragon Knight is going to end up in their hands and not in the hands of their opponent. And this is not going to be easy to pull off by any means. Already Sonya down to the bot lane. There's also of course the mobility that Falstad has on the map, which is extremely crucial for this. We have them move around again, just to give you a bit of a damage idea of what's happening so far in the game. Still Zagara with very solid damage here, thanks to the 41,000 that she was able to secure. No kills against Muradin yet, so Alex has been alive throughout all of this. And here comes the pressure play against the bottom keep. They should actually get this one. With Phoenix and everything else, they should be able to take it. And yeah, there's the stun. Keep is taken. So that was a great play by Na'Vi. They move in again. Zarmany is already rotating around with his whirlwind, and they are starting to retreat at this point. They're simply moving away. They achieved everything they wanted to achieve here. They take down the keep, and there's very little else that they have to do. As long as you eliminate the keep, you're in a really good spot, and that's exactly what they did. So both of the lanes are pressuring at the same speed. This top wave, on the other hand, this is going to become a massive issue, since there's also another wave moving in right now. Down here, on the other hand, there's again that fight starting, and this time Breeze might die. They go for him again. Apocalypse is chosen. Alex jumps in. He wants the kill, doesn't get it though, and they are starting to rotate around against Maxi Style, who got more. Crosby jumps over the edge, is starting to dish out more damage, but still, they have to retreat right now. They try to go for Leoric first, and they get a solid amount of damage, and oh my god, like he's gonna fall, isn't he? Yes, Leoric is down, he's gonna cheat death though, and Uther, no, Mane is isolated, but he blinks away with the Bolt of the Storm. Over to the left side, we have still those towers completely taken apart. And again, that problem that Uther could use the Divine Shield to catch one of them. But as you can see over here already, it is still one of the shrines that gets stolen. But yeah, of course, this wall is starting to become a huge problem. Only the keep still has the ammunition. 6 kills against 4, and they start to take those lanes away and also get some extra push for themselves. Whereas, of course, now with a move up to the top lane, looks like Quacknix is going to try and secure that shrine, and then the Divine Shield move into the middle again to make sure that they're going to get another Dragon Knight. And that would be the end of the game. That Dragon Knight, it is a crucial point, and they need to know this. If they are ending up in a situation where the Dragon Knight is taken with the Divine Shield, the game is over. The game would be over immediately. But for now, it's the attack against Falstad. The Stormbolt not hitting. The Gravity Lapse does though, and now Falstad is down. They kill Falstad. They can go through the wall. and this is an opportunity for them to get the Dragonite themselves. They're already starting to roam around now. We have the rotation to the bottom. Leoric actually is thinking about the top lane at this point, and again, the Divine Shield is the biggest problem. Divine Shield move into the middle of the map. Sonya, on the other hand, she really needs to go for that shrine right now. I can't believe they're going to go for the attack. Can they really pull this off? There's nobody in the middle to take Dragonite. They want to go for core. They're trying to go for core. They don't try to go for the Dragonite. If that doesn't work, the game would be thrown. They start to move in. They believe in their chances without Falset to drop them here. They go for the fight. Zegara is immediately being attacked. There comes again the Apocalypse, and they are starting to drop the hit points on the... I can't believe that they're actually doing this. They move in, they lose Kel'Thas, they lose Zegara, the core is at 50%. Can they really finish this? They're starting to go in with everything that they have, and Navi, unbelievable, they take it! They really take the game, they drop the core. Grand Paquete is still alive, so is Alex. It's a 2-0 victory for Navi. Great play here, and they take the European finals of the Enter the Storm qualifier. GG, and well played. And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on KhaldorTV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to KhaldorTV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you, and I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.